My name is Tinashe Mushakavanhu. I'm a writer, an African literature scholar, and a sometimes curator of publishing and reading projects. My journey to Oxford has taken many detours. It started as a doctoral project that combined two unconventionally separate writers, the English Romantic poet Percy B. Shelley and the iconoclast African writer Dambudzo Marechera. This place is a stone's throw away from New College, where Marechera was a student in the 1970s. He would come and spend time in this building to read in the library or sometimes sleeping rough at this rooftop. A few rusty spears of sunlight had pierced through the overhead drizzling clouds. Behind the gloom of rain and mist, I could see a wizened but fearfully bloodshot sun. And everywhere, the sweet clangor of bells pushed in clear tones what secret rites had evolved with this city. Narrow cobbled streets, ancient warren of diverse architecture, all bagged up into itself, with here, there, and everywhere the massive masonry of college after college, sudden and thrifty avenues winding past closed pegged little shops. So we are now in the Bodleian. There's a reason why I became fascinated with archives. Reading Marechera taught me to activate myself, my being. I've always been curious about the story of our country. When does a country begin? And these documents give me a vision of one beginning. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. Because as I go through these documents, I do not see people like my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, people like myself. So I'm wondering what this beginning means. For a long time, the archive, at least for me, always felt like a forbidden territory. So this is a selection of archives connected to or related to Cecil John Rhodes. These photographs are mapping the journey from Cape Town, where Rhodes died. The procession passes through several South African cities, including Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, and eventually Matopos. Rhodes choreographed how he wanted his funeral to happen, and where exactly he wanted to be buried. So he wanted to be buried in this big boulder that had to be drilled, and it faces a vast landscape. I still remember as kids being taken to Matopos for a school trip where Cecil John Rhodes is buried, and I'd always wondered what this world looked like for him. Everything I think I know about this story has always been anecdotal, has always been piecemeal, has almost always been mythical. And for the first time, I'm placed right at that moment. And it's absolutely fascinating. Sometimes I don't know whether to be upset, to cry. But because I'm a storyteller, I'm a reader, I'm a writer, I can also make my own worlds. It's fascinating to think about this in the context of Rhodes Must Fall, because the geography of that contention spans continents. So, what is African history if the source of that history is not the African himself? This is what preoccupies my mind every day. And I've learned that sometimes in order to read these archives, I need to create my own mirror archives that displaces these voices, these perspectives, and bring in myself, bring in my community, bring in my history, bring in my ancestors.